Hello, everybody. Our Parsha and Sefer Devarim opens with a description of what turns out to be Moshe Rabbeinu's farewell soliloquy to Am Yisrael. Eila hadevarim asher diber Moshe el kol Yisrael. Moshe begins a speech that is destined to last for 37 days, from Rosh Chodesh Shvat until the day of his death on Zayin Adar. Imagine a Rav today speaking for 37 days, maybe even 37 minutes would be unbearable, I suppose. Now, this is amazing that he spoke for so long. It's even more amazing when you think about the introduction of the relationship between Hashem and Moshe at the Sneh. Moshe Rabbeinu declares about himself, Lo ish devarim anochi, I'm not a man of words, ki chvad peh chvad lashon anochi. We usually understand this to mean that Moshe describes his speech impediment. And yet here all of a sudden he could speak and speak quite extensively. So the Medrash in our Parsha tells us, in fact, from our Pasuk, we learn that ad shalot zacha Torah, until Moshe was zoche to acquire Torah from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, ksivbo, it is descriptive of him to say, lo ish devarim anochi, he's not a man of words. But kevon shezacha Torah, once he was zoche for Torah, nisrape lishono, his tongue was healed, v'hitchil ledaber dvarim, and he was able to speak. Now, this is a beautiful medrash, but it seems to run counter to something that the Ramban says, or I should say the Ramban runs counter to the words of the medrash. The Ramban tells us that at the Sneh, Moshe Rabbeinu tainted that he's not a man of words, and therefore he didn't want to accept the shlichut that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to send him on to Paro to demand the freedom of Bnei Yisrael. Says the Ramban, V'hinei Moshe, me'rov cheftzo shelo yelech, because Moshe so much did not want to go, lo yitpalel lefanav sheyasir kvedut piv. You would have thought that if Moshe recognizes that he has an impediment, he would have seized the opportunity to ask Hashem for a refuah. But he didn't want to go. So therefore, he didn't bother to ask, heal me so that I can become a diplomatic, eloquent spokesman. And God's response, says the Ramban, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Kevan shelo hitpalel b'chach lo ratzah l'rapoto. You're not going to ask for a refuah? I'm not going to heal you. So the question is, Medrash tells us he's healed. Ramban seems to indicate he wasn't healed. A grandson of the Oznaim LaTorah of Zalman Sorotzkin, his grandson Rav Yosef Sorotzkin, has a sefer called Meged Yosef, in which he notes that there are two concepts that were spoken of by Moshe Rabbeinu in Parshat Shmot. One was that he was a kevad lashon, and one was that he was a kevad peh. Ki chvad peh uchvad lashon anochi. There's a difference between the two. They are not identical in describing simply a speech impediment. There is the concept of lashon. Kvad lashon means one's tongue, that is the kli hamidaber, and through which one is able to properly enunciate and express himself. Kvad lashon, therefore, speaks about the difficulty of actual speech, whereas kvad peh refers to the orifice, the mouth itself, which is relative to the tongue, an outer organ, visible externally, and less active in determining how one speaks. And we should be medayek, therefore, in the words of Chazal, both in the Medrash and in the Ramban, The Medrash says that after Moshe was Zoche for Torah, Nisrape Lishono, his tongue, his ability to speak was repaired, and therefore Hitchil L'daber Devarim. The Ramban noted that Moshe lo yitpalel lefanav sheyasir kvedut piv, not lishono, piv. Moshe did not want his external look, the scar from, of course, we all know the Medrash, that as a little one, Moshe Rabbeinu took the burning coal to his mouth, and that left an external scar. And that Moshe Rabbeinu, he didn't want to be healed of. He wanted to always have an external, visible, tangible sign of the greatness that HaKadosh Baruch Hu had done for him back then. And he didn't want to go to Paro because of the fact that at that time he didn't have the ability to speak. And even if he did, he didn't have the gentlemanly look that one would think a diplomat of high stature should have in representing Hashem and Bnei Yisrael. Shabbat